morning. Today is September 8th, and this is The View with Catherine Chang. Today's topics are KMT to stick to the 92 consensus, and Taipei Mayor Kuo said poor people buy U.S. pork. First, I want to talk about KMT to stick to the 92 consensus. KMT's annual National Congress was held on September 6th. KMT Chairman Jiang Qichen, Johnny Chang, said that the KMT will stick to the 92 consensus as the basis of policy toward China. I'm disappointed with Jiang Qichen's statement. Why? Here are some points. A. When Jiang Qichen took over the chairman of the KMT, he originally said that he would review the 92 consensus because the 92 consensus has no longer exists and China does not accept the so-called each side has its own interpretation. 各自表述. President Xi even said that one China is the People's Republic of China and Taiwan is a part of China. Of course, Taiwanese cannot accept it. B. Younger KMT members were also disappointed about the 92 consensus. They said that it is an outdated policy and is one of the reasons why the KMT suffered a huge defeat in the January presidential election. Some people think that both Jiang Qichen and the KMT were kidnapped by former President Mao's 92 consensus. C. KMT is doomed to fail the elections because of the 92 consensus. I think the DPP might be the ruling party for the next 12 or even 16 years. What a tragedy for KMT, but it caused by itself. There's a saying that the former Kaohsiung mayor Han Kuo-yu will run for the 2022 Taipei mayor election. His possible opponent might be Jiang Wen-an, the grandson of the late President Jiang Jingguo. What is interesting is that Han Kuo-yu was absent from the KMT annual National Congress on Sunday. There were supposed to be more than 1,900 people attending the meeting. However, only less than 300 people came. Second issue I want to talk about, Taipei Mayor Kuo said poor people buy U.S. pork. Taipei Mayor Ko Wen-je said because of the U.S. porks are cheaper than Taiwanese pork, so only the poor will buy the U.S. pork. And this argument has caused a huge backlash. I think it is improper for Mayor Kuo to say something like that. The DPP's legislator Wang Dingyu pointed out that the cheapest porks in Taiwan are Canadian porks, not the United States porks. Mayor Kuo said the poor people buy U.S. pork. He's not only using the force analogy, but also is kind of discrimination against the so-called poor people. I think the main point is not rich or poor. Once the government does not properly control red dopamine, it will affect all the consumers regardless of rich or poor. Here are the top stories. Today, we have one confirmed case. A Taiwanese woman in her 20s, work in France and come back to Taiwan on September 6th. MOFA held the Asia-Pacific Security Dialogue with the U.S. today. There are representatives from 13 countries joining the meeting. The former White House National Security Advisor McMaster and President Tsai both gave speeches, and McMaster emphasized that we must strengthen Taiwan's defense efforts, that the CCP and the People's Liberation Army know there's no way for them to invade Taiwan. President Tsai also talked about the pandemic and military defense of Taiwan. Here are her speech. We can say that on the first point, she said that Taiwan is the second largest face mask producer in the world. We make 20 million masks per day. And second, military enhancement. President Tsai said that we have produced necessary equipment from the United States, including new F-16Vs, as well as missiles. And number three, about CCP's threat, the rapid militarization of the South China Sea, increasing and frequent gray zone tactics in the Taiwan Strait and the East China Sea. And the fourth item, security and economic development cannot be separated. Together, we are more than the sum of our parts. And we can see that also Taiwan is really, kind of ready to join the United Nations. There are 21 groups in New York that support Taiwan to join the United Nations. One of the groups keep Taiwan free treated. Taiwan is ready and willing to contribute to the international community towards safeguarding global health, peace, and security. It is time for the United Nations to leave no one behind. U.S. President Donald Trump again raises idea of decoupling economy from China. According to Reuters, he said that we lose billions of dollars, and if we didn't do business with them, we wouldn't lose billions of dollars. It's called decoupling. So you all start thinking about it. On the other hand, China set global standards on data security to counteract the U.S.-China piracy. And talking about that, China Foreign Minister Wang Yi said a Beijing meeting seminar. And talking about that, it said that China set global standards on data security to counteract the U.S. He said, we oppose undermining the key infrastructure or data theft by using information technology. We strongly ask firms to store data generated overseas in China. Wang Yi also criticized that United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announced a clean network program, which includes Chinese telecommunication or forms or apps and cloud providers from internet infrastructure used by the United States or other countries. There's a war of journalist visa between China and the United States. According to the Wall Street Journal, at least 5 journalists and the 4 media groups, including the Wall Street Journal, CNN, and the Bloomberg, had been denied new press cards. If they didn't get the visa, they will have to leave China before November. However, China criticized the U.S. government for kind of shortening Chinese journalists' visa, too. You say that China target more journalists from the U.S. media outlets. And China Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian said that the United States government should extend visas for all Chinese journalists as soon as possible, instead of taking journalists from the 2 countries as hostages for the certain political and politicians. We're talking about the political interests. And talking about the Hong Kong protests that happened on September 6th, that Hong Kong police arrest people for more than 10 hours and force them to starve. With some arrested persons, condemned the police for kind of indiscriminated arrest and said that Hong Kong, which was once known as the capital of the rule of law, has now become a rule of man. Also, real Mulan, Agnes Chow got detained and fined for propagating a post-universal health code. And since, we're talking about that, she was detained. And she said that under the circumstances of mainland social distancing and obey the gathering restrictions orders. However, they detained me for about 40 minutes and fined me for violating prohibition of the group gathering rules. Hong Kong activist Huang Zhifeng also tweeted that Agnes Chow is now surrounded by Hong Kong police while setting up a street booth to express concerns about the, kind of potential risk of the DNA collections behind health code system. Additionally, pro-democracy activists are calling on people to boycott the movie Mulan. In Mandarin is Hua Mulan. Well, that is because the film's leading actor Liu Yifei said that, I support the Hong Kong police. You can all attack me now. What a shame for Hong Kong. And you can see that Huang Zhifeng also wanted to tweet about the movie. This is a movie that Liu Yifei, she's the actress. And Huang Zhifeng tweeted and said that because Disney kowtows to Beijing and because Liu Yifei openly and proudly endorses police brutality in Hong Kong. So I urge everyone who believes in human rights to boycott Mulan. Something interesting to share with you, the box office of the movie Mulan in China is poor because the actress Liu Yifei holds a U.S. passport and claims that she is an American. So that will be the view for today. I hope you enjoyed the night. And this is Catherine Chang. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.